Good evening and welcome to the University of the West Indies Mona Campus. I am Faye Ellington. It's a very special occasion. You can hear the University Panorama Steel Orchestra in the background, but we're here for a special convocation for the conferment of the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on former Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honourable Portia Simpson-Miller. Several persons have gathered here to witness this very special occasion, and just so you can get an idea of what's happening, you could perhaps have a look at the University Panorama Steel Orchestra. They're on that side performing, and the very many guests are entering at this time. The 7th Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mrs. Portia Simpson-Miller, the 7th Prime Minister of Jamaica, and she has had a long and outstanding career in politics in this country. Mrs. Simpson-Miller has served as a councillor, as a member of parliament. She's served as Prime Minister, and of course she has been leader of the opposition. You had a peek on the outside just now of the preparations. You're looking at this stage. There's on the outside of the Assembly Hall at the University of the West Indies as various dignitaries arrive for this special convocation for the conferment of the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on the Most Honourable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller. Mrs. Simpson-Miller was born on the 12th of December 1945. And we know exactly that she's been very proud of her parish, St. Catherine. She served as Prime Minister twice. First, it was on March 2006 to September 2007, and again from the 5th of January 2012 to the 3rd of March 2016. She was the leader of the People's National Party from 2006 to 2017, and the leader of the opposition twice from 2007 to 2012, and again from 2016 to 2017. Today, the University of the West Indies confers its honorary doctorate on Mrs. Portia Simpson-Miller, former Prime Minister. It is indeed a significant honor, and it is looking back at her contribution over the many, many years to politics and public life in this country. We're seeing the arrival here of Wickham McNeil. This is the former Minister of Tourism, now has a shadow responsibility for tourism back at his feet, arriving here at the Assembly Hall for this special conferment. What will happen today is that the national anthem will be performed by the university singers at 2 minutes to the hour of 5, and then after that we will remain standing for the Chancellor's procession. That will include the Chief Marshal, the Public Orator, the University Registrar, the University Bursar, the University Librarian, the Pro-Vice Chancellors, the Campus Principals, Deputy Principal, Chairman of the Campus Council, Mona, the Vice Chancellor, and the Honorary Graduate herself. Then the Chancellor and the Mace Bearer. When the Chancellor has taken his seat, then the company will also be required to sit. The Mace Bearer falls to this young member of the University Council, the Students' Council, O'Shane Grant. He's the Guild President. And so he will be the mace bearer this afternoon. Wickham McNeil speaks with some of the dignitaries who are here for this very important special convocation. You can see the flags from the various territories, the members of the Caribbean nations that make up the University of the West Indies. We see former Governor General Sir Kenneth Hall speaking with now the leader of the opposition shadow person for national security, that's Mr. Fitz-Jackson. The former mayor, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, is also in that picture as they seat themselves as we prepare for the start of this event. There is Mrs. Simpson-Miller's husband, the Most Honourable Harold Miller, is now being escorted in, and he's being escorted by Dr. Carol Edwards, the head and soon to be retired of the Marketing, Recruitment and Communications Department here at the University of the West Indies. And so Mr. Harold Miller takes his seat as he prepares to share in this very special occasion for his wife. Former chairman of the People's National Party, Robert Pickersgill, is here as well. It's no surprise that the members of the People's National Party have turned out in their numbers. Philip Paulwell is here as well. They're here to witness and support Mikhail Phillips. There he is seated immediately behind Philip Paulwell, now blocked, but I'm certain you'll get a chance to see others who come along for this function. The moment the function starts officially, I'll be handing over to the stage where the Chancellor will take charge right through to the very end of the occasion. And then at the end, of course, the closure of the ceremony, as soon as the Chancellor declares the ceremony at an end, then the procession will retire in reverse order. It's still very overcast in the Kingston area, and we did have a few intermittent showers, some of them moderately heavy this afternoon, but nonetheless, we see people arriving to share in this occasion. As you can see, the heavy clouds and the beautiful palms, and that is from the entrance on the Queen's Drive right through to the Undercroft. And again, we strike up with the music of the UWI Panorhythm Steel Orchestra in the background. Here are other members of the gathering arriving. Ambassador Eleanor Felix, that's a lady in black here. She's the head, the chief head of protocol. As we reflect on and recount the portfolios in which Mrs. Simpson-Miller has served, it is good to note that she served as Minister of Local Government, Minister of Tourism, Minister of Labour, and she was thought to be an exceptionally good Minister of Labour. Now we see the Leader of the Opposition arriving, that's Dr. Peter Phillips, along with his wife, Mrs. Sandra Phillips, and they are making their way now into the Assembly Hall. They are met by members of the Students' Council. The University crest proudly displayed here in the Assembly Hall. The former Governor General Sir Kenneth Hall having a word with the former chairman of the People's National Party, Robert Pickersgill. Councillors are present here today. Members of Parliament, former members of Parliament. Members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps also represented here. And now we see the Chancellor's procession. So they're leaving the annex at the University of the West Indies, Professor Caroline Cooper among them. and several others as the procession now makes its way across the parking area into the assembly hall. A little bit of a pause to ensure that once we are moving, everything is moving smoothly. This is there we see Deborah Hicklin, Dr. Deborah Hicklin, just out of your frame. She worked very closely as a personal assistant with Mrs. Simpson-Miller for a number of years. So if you could just go back to, here she is. That's Deborah Hicklin, Dr. Deborah Hicklin, as a personal assistant with Mrs. Simpson-Miller for many years. And so she, I know, would be here to support her. Behind her is Dr. Pansy Hamilton. And so they're here to form the Chancellor's procession as they prepare now to make their way to the platform. There we see Damian Crawford, who was recently given the portfolio of Youth Shadow for the People's National Party. And now the Chancellor's procession to that very familiar melody begins. This is the academic procession, the marshal, the academic staff. The Council of the Guild of Students will follow also, so too members of the UWI Alumni Association and the senior administrative and professional staff. So the processions will be broken into two parts. First, the academic procession. When they are in place, then the national anthem, which will be sung by the university singers. And then immediately after the national anthem, the company is requested to remain standing while the Chancellor's procession enters. A good representative of the academic procession as they make their way into the assembly hall for this special occasion. If you're just joining, we are coming to you live from the University of the West Indies Mona Campus. The event, a special convocation for the conferment of the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on the Most Honourable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller, ON, former Prime Minister of Jamaica. It's taking place at the Assembly Hall on the Mona Campus. The processional march is being played by the UWI Panorhythm Steel Orchestra. As all prime ministers in Jamaica they have the responsibility for the Minister of Defense, Development. That's right. She, as in Mrs. Portia Simpson-Miller, also, while serving as Prime Minister, was Minister of Defense. Served as Minister of Labour, Social Security and Sport, Minister of Tourism and Sports, and she had quite an interest in sports. And we remember her support for the various sectors in sports. Of course, her political career as Minister of Local Government also was outstanding. We see the Governor General arriving at this time, His Excellency, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, and Her Excellency, the Most Honourable Lady Allen. They have just disembarked their vehicles, being met now. The Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor meeting our Governor General and Lady Allen. This is a significant outing for the Chancellor, as he was recently installed in that capacity. The Deputy Principal, along with leads the way, Professor Kawa, just ahead of the Governor General, His Excellency, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen and Lady Allen, and members of the University Singers, as you can see, are in place. The moment the Governor General gets into his position, we will have the singing of the national anthem. And there is the lady of the moment, looking resplendent, capped and gowned and ready to go. The principal of the University of the West Indies walking just behind her, that's Professor Archibald MacDonald. So we are now preparing for the national anthem, immediately after which we'll have the Chancellor's procession. The Chancellor's procession is now making its way to the holding area. Now the anthem. University Singers with the national anthem. And now we prepare for the arrival of the Chancellor's procession. Our honorary graduate is outfitted and will now be making her way into the Assembly Hall at the University of the West Indies, Mona Campus. The Chief Marshal leading this portion of the registrar leading this portion of the procession, which is the Chancellor's procession. So we gather here for the conferment of the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on the Most Honourable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller. After the platform party has been seated, the proceedings will be managed by the Chancellor.
Your Excellency, the Governor-General and Lady Elaine, Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips and Mrs. Phillips, Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellors, Principals, Officers of the University, Honorary Graduate, Mrs. Portia Simpson-Miller and Mr. Errol Miller, Minister of Education, Senator the Honourable Reed, former Governor-General, the Most Honourable Sir Kenneth Hall and Lady Hall, former Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Edward Seaga and Mrs. Seaga, Ministers of State, the Honourable Fayval Williams and the Honourable Floyd Green, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Senate, members of the House of Representatives, members of the academic staff, other distinguished guests, in particular the specially invited guests of our honorary graduate, online viewers throughout the West Indies, looking at this ceremony on UWI TV, ladies and gentlemen. Fine universities such as the University of the West Indies established and successfully maintained their reputation by doing what is right and reasonable in the eyes of their stakeholders and is consistent with their fundamental and ethical academic values. This afternoon, we are met so that our university may act in a manner such as this, and for a cause that will enable it to maintain this tradition and culture by speaking truths that are recognized, accepted, and embraced by the communities we serve. Today, we welcome and celebrate a distinguished daughter and duenna of Caribbean political life, who has shown by her deeds and dexterity and determination that dedication to the just cause of her people is a noble way to live a life, is as noble a way to live a life as any other. We recognize the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller, a citizen known for her leadership of this country, Jamaica, in difficult economic times and challenging social circumstances. She has formally departed the leadership role within the political arena, but she left her country better poised and carefully positioned to move forward in its quest to fulfill its enormous potential. In so doing, she has shown an unmatched spirit of humility, rising from community service to national, regional, and international service. We celebrate a woman of special human gifts, a sister and citizen who gave more than she took from public life, and who enriched us all with her example of selfless dedication to her people. The University of the West Indies is honored that she has allowed us to honor her as she enters a new phase in her long and prestigious career of service. I welcome each and every one of you to this special convocation of the University of the West Indies, by which it shall confer on the Most Honorable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws.
Chancellor, I now ask the public orator, Dr. Michael Buckner, to present Mrs. Portia Simpson-Miller, whom the Senate and the Council of the University have been pleased to recommend for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Chancellor, in this your first conferment of an honorary degree, since your own advancement into this coveted company, it is fortuitous that I present to you another first. This elegant lady and politician extraordinaire, who became the first female Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller. Popularly known as Sister P, the former Prime Minister and President of the People's National Party, has blazed a trail of accomplishments that has ignited the imagination of young women and men who dared to dream impossible dreams. In following Portia's journey into politics, all peoples from all walks of life can discover like a hidden treasure that pearl of possibility. But Chancellor, it is a pearl that has come, no doubt, at great price. For you see, in politics, this woman warrior has had to face hardships, surmount hidden hurdles, wage battles within and without, bear the biting tongue lashing of criticism, and make personal sacrifices. Indeed, she has had to shatter the glass ceilings of patriarchal privilege and to shake up the glass houses of Parliament. To reach the unreachable stars of her political ambition, she has had to beat unbeatable foes. First, she had to fend off 3 men with doctorates in an internal party contest to become president of the PNP and Prime Minister the first time, and then to ward off youthful exuberance in an external national challenge winning this battle with stunning landslide victory to become Prime Minister a second time. Chancellor, such achievements reveal that Portia Simpson-Miller is a woman of courage, tenacity, street smarts, emotional intelligence, shrewdness, and bravery. Though proverbially we know, Chancellor, that duppy know who fi frighten, as Portia herself has reminded us, she has developed a toughness after years in the political trenches that no boy, no girl, no one can test. But Chancellor, Sister P is not all grit and guts, fearsomeness and fight. She's also a woman well loved for her charm, her kindness, her charisma. Hailing from Trinidad, you no doubt would have experienced real Jamaican welcome on meeting her. The warm hug, the Parisian kisses to both cheeks, and the brilliant, all-encircling smile. She's a woman with the warmest of hearts and a true embodiment of Jamaican hospitality. When our first female Prime Minister walks the streets of Jamaica, she, like the Pied Piper, will find people, not just her party people, following PP cluck cluck behind her. Children, as Deborah Hicklin reports, race beyond their schoolroom strictures out into open fields to greet Mama P, and as they run, they gleefully scream, "Porsche, Porsche, Porsche!" The cheers of children, in their affectionate abbreviation of her name, intuitively and perhaps unwittingly, articulate what we all know about Portia. She, like the sleek elite moving machine, is a high-performance politician who can walk and even run with Kipling's kings, and we should add queens, but still maintain the common touch. This ability to connect with people is part of her political capital, most likely learnt early from her mother in the humble hamlet of Ward Hall, St. Catherine, a mother who never ceased to remind her that she should, quote, only look down on someone if you're going to lift them up, unquote. From very early in her political career, it is as if she were anointed from on high to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim good news to the poor, and to offer hope to people in despair. Portia Simpson-Miller is one Jamaican politician universally acknowledged as a champion of the poor. She began her political career in 1972 after completing her early education at Marley Hill Primary and St. Martin's High School, and after receiving professional certification at the Jamaica Commercial Institute. After working in the social services, the trade union movement, and as a secretary, she entered political representation at the local government level. Portia, as a young girl, cut her political incisor teeth on party matters under the influence of her father, said to be a fiercely loyal party man who had caught the fervor and fever of nationalism. Sitting at her father's feet, taking notes, she learned the fundamentals of party organizing. And soon after her stint as a parish councillor, she contested and won the constituency of St. Andrew Southwestern. And there she has been working for over 40 years as Member of Parliament until her retirement in 2017. In that inner city community, she has emphasized education as a beacon of hope to families caught in generational cycles of poverty, and she's worked at urban renewal. That she won that constituency over and over again guaranteed the PNP one of their safest seats in the country, and confirmed that as an astute politician, She had that constituency lock, stock, and barrel. Beyond her constituency triumphs, she is known as an extremely effective government minister, bringing a studied discipline to her approach and the bravado of her big heart. Her sensitivity to preserving the dignity of the marginalized, Chancellor, is perhaps best illustrated during her first tenure in the cabinet when her mentor, the Right Honourable Michael Manley, appointed her as Minister of Labour, Welfare and Sports. According to one who worked with her at the time, Portia took her portfolio personally. In that first stint, she insisted on changing the customer service culture. Elderly who had given yeoman service were to be warmly greeted, offered something to drink, and be taken care of with kindness and sensitivity. Farm workers who were being inspected auction block style were to have their dignity preserved through a modification of the space and the development of the Farm Work Center, providing hospitality, especially for farmers coming from far rural villages. She worked with others. She worked with others in developing the senior citizen policy, worked on the computerization of the national insurance records, and laid the groundwork for the establishment of the National Health Fund. Such successful initiatives were repeated in various other ministerial portfolios: tourism, sports, entertainment, and women's affairs. In tourism, her emphasis on community tourism and keeping the little people in sight of our tourism programs was seen by her as a key to development. Also, her insistence that Jamaica express commiseration with the US victims of 9/11, producing a solidarity message, revealed a sensitivity that was signature Mama P with her heart of gold. Having an eye on sports development, Simpson-Miller worked on policy to establish the Sports Foundation, and under her watch, Jamaica saw the Reggae Boys qualify for the World Cup. And it was Portia Simpson-Miller, with a genuine interest in gender issues when responsible for women affairs, who worked with others to craft a gender policy. Chancellor, with over 40 years of unstinting public service to Jamaica, Simpson-Miller's outstanding contribution to nation building, which cannot be fully captured here, is more than enough to validate this honor. Yet, we should recall a few of her distinctions as a Prime Minister with her own mandate. She reaffirmed Jamaica's commitment to CARICOM and Caribbean regionalism. She reassured the Jamaican population that through her own international contacts and initiatives, and working with Peter the Rock, her government could stabilize the economic platform of the country on which gospels of prosperity could take flight. And she initiated a program for the erection of houses for young professionals and sugar workers. As our own Vice Chancellor has said, Prime Minister Simpson-Miller showcases, quote, the phenomenal resilience that resides at the core of Caribbean consciousness. She stands tall within our political pantheon as a citizen and sister, woman and humanist, unquote. Already, Portia Simpson-Miller has been recognized and rewarded with the Order of the Nation, the Bureau of the Women's Affairs Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Advancement of Women's Affairs in Jamaica, the International Olympic Committee's World Women and Sport Trophy for outstanding dedication to women in sports, the Distinguished Award for Urban Renewal and Community Development from the Mayor of the City of Miami. In 2012, she was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential persons in the world. In 2014, she was inducted in the International Women's Forum Hall of Fame and made a member of the Council of Women World Leaders. Though in academia, she has already earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in public administration, awarded certificates in public relations and advanced management, completed the executive program for leaders in development at Harvard University, and notwithstanding the 3 honorary doctorates already received, it is appropriate for UWI to join in the ululation of our distinguished Caribbean citizen. Chancellor, given our honorees penchant for nurturing, the pelican, the mother bird of this our institution, would be an appropriate insignia for Mama P. And therefore I invite you, by the authority vested in you by the Council and Senate of the University of the West Indies, to confer upon the Most Honorable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Power vested in me by the Senate and the Council of the University of the West Indies, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa of the University of the West Indies. Dr. Portia Simpson will now address the company.
Chancellor Robert Bermudez, Vice Chancellor Sir Hilary Beckles and Lady Beckles, members of the senior management of the university, members of the faculty, and I want to recognize the presence of my colleagues here this evening. I think it would take a long time for me to mention them by name. University stakeholders, members of government, members of the private sector, civil society, and trade unions. And let me recognize in a special way as well the presence of my husband, Harold, and my other family members. Dr. Phillips, it's so nice that you and your wife could be here to share with me this afternoon. And I want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart. I recognize ambassadors here as well, and I want to thank them for coming to give support. Blessings. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon. I use this opportunity to welcome Chancellor Bermudez as he commences his tenure here at the University of the West Indies. I do not intend to alarm you, Chancellor Bermudez. However, I must point out that you're starting your leg of the relay in the very big footprints of Sir George Alleyne. In offering my welcome and congratulations, let me say I have no doubt, Chancellor, that you're more than capable to take on the task at hand. I also extend my best wishes to Sir George. It is no secret that before I was paid this great compliment by the University of the West Indies, I had already received many awards. Whether you subscribe to the Christian faith, as I do, one can readily appreciate the biblical reference about a prophet being honored in his own country. The same applies to being honored in one's own region our country. I can hear the voice of former Vice Chancellor, the late Professor Rex Nettleford, reverberating in my head. This is my Portia, in whom I am well pleased. No greater accolade can be greater than being honored by the University of the West Indies, the institution which embodies the educational excellence and cultural identity of the Caribbean region. I see the conferment of this award as a celebration of Jamaica and Jamaicanness. I believe it signals an appreciation by the university of an authentic Jamaican political culture. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, it is recognition of the important role that organic political culture to community and national development. In honoring my contribution to public life and my service in the political sphere, the UWI is in essence honoring the people of Jamaica. It is the attainment of their dreams and ambitions that I have pursued for nearly 50 years of political life. As I say thanks for this honor being bestowed, it is to the masses of the Jamaican people that I dedicate this great tribute from this noble institution. It is their pain, hopes, and enduring experiences which have propelled my rise from the deep rural area, but proud community of Wood Hall in St. Catherine to Jamaica House and the many further of the world. And I want to say to parents here, speak positively in the lives of your children. I remember coming from primary school, my father called me. He said, sit right here on my knees. He rubbed my head and he said to me, I just want you to know you will be the one to bring honor and glory to this family. As a primary school girl then, I never knew what he was talking about. But I am humbled yet proud that I can stand as a living testimony that there's much good that can come from the very bowels of the Jamaican people. And that is especially so for our women who rise every day, put one foot in front of the other, and excel against all odds. As your tribute says, we often do so without the privileges of wealth, color, class, and respected profession. I locate my humble beginnings as a product of the working class. It is from that class that I sprung, and it is to their service and advancement that I devoted my life. Despite this fact, however, I have been more than the poor people's defender, more than just the first female leader of government, much more than the 7th Prime Minister of Jamaica. I have been a Prime Minister for all the people of Jamaica. I've been asked many times about my lifelong devotion to politics and the people. Questions such as, was it worth it? From what did I get the most satisfaction? Was it giving land to the landless, providing decent housing for the poor and dispossessed, spearheading the game-changing North-South Highway, the transformation of the National Insurance Fund to finance old age pensions, or the mobilization of the Jamaican people and U.S. congressional support for the necessary fundamental reforms of the Jamaican economy in 2012. In summary, my answer is that politics provided me with a platform to implement policies that fulfilled people's dreams and actualized my passions. Some of those dreams of the people included a cry for equality of opportunity, social justice, and respect, the educational advancement of their children so that they can have a better life than their parents did, a chance to live a quality of life that is beyond a daily hustling, and a life where basic social amenities such as water and shelter are guaranteed. What have been my passions? They have been the protection of our children, the advancement of our women, the development of sport, the economic empowerment of the masses of the Jamaican people, and the forward movement of our Caribbean regional integration. Let there be no misunderstanding. I wanted to do more, wanted to give more, wanted to achieve more for the people and for my country, because the Jamaican dream has not been realized. The needs of my people in Southwest St. Andrew have not been fully met. However, like the Apostle Paul, I believe that I have fought a good fight, and I have finished my course in representational politics. I take satisfaction in the children I may have inspired. I'm encouraged by the youth I've helped to prepare for the world through education and training. I'm consoled by the young leaders I have influenced, the pensioners who can sleep a little better, the families saved from generational poverty by having a roof over their heads and a title for their land. I have played my part and run my leg of the relay of representation and service to my country. To whatever ripples I may have created in the ocean of life will be added currents of many others. In this way, a tidal wave of positive change will be inevitable. Chancellor and Vice Chancellor, today your kind gesture crowns my efforts. I thank the University of the West Indies in a very special way. I am grateful for the Honorary Award of Doctors of Law. I'm further humbled by your gracious offer to be a distinguished fellow here at the Mona Campus. Through this engagement, I will seek to share my life's work with students, staff, and the people of Jamaica and the Caribbean. And as you approach the 70th anniversary of this great institution, your own mettle will be tested to do more and to be more. I have hope in your capacity to deliver on these expectations, because I'm convinced of the correctness of your mission and the firmness of your resolve to see that mission through. The UWI exists to advance education and create knowledge in the Caribbean region and beyond. You seek to achieve this through excellence in teaching, research, innovation, public service, intellectual leadership, and outreach. Let the light of the university continue to burnish the Caribbean vision of self-actualization and development. May that light illuminate our path towards a truly integrated region offering tangible benefits and real hope to our people. May the UWI continue to fuel the passion of the people of our region for great achievements and excellence at all times. I thank you. God bless you all. Love you all. Thank you.
We will now hear from the university singers.
Jesus, my only Lord. From now on his name, I'm surely gonna call. And if I don't trust him, I'll be less than a woman, 'cause I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Can't even walk, no, without you holding my hand. Lord, the mountain is too high, and the valley, it is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to say, can't even walk without you
up with the scent of a woman. So picture if you could what life would be. Ain't much good without a woman. She can nag and be a constant pain. Oh, not a woman. With those hips, she got me whipped, and it was too hard to resist. What a woman. She put a smile upon your face and take you to a higher place. So don't you underestimate the strength of a woman. Strength of a woman. Tender lips that so sweet. Gentle words she softly speak. She's an angel when you need. God bless the ground beneath her feet. She can take you on a high. Be your comfort when you cry. But if you look into her eyes, you'll see strength of a woman. Strength of a woman. Smile upon your face and take you to a higher place. So don't you underestimate strength of a woman. Strength of a woman. That woman, that woman, that woman, ooh, that woman, that woman, that woman, that woman, ooh, that woman, that woman, that woman, that woman, ooh, that woman, that woman, that woman, that woman, ooh. The strength of a woman.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that. I would like to call on Dr. Simpson-Miller again. Please.
I want to recognize the presence of our Governor General and his wife. I am sorry that when I spoke, it was not in my, but Gigi, you know I love you already. And so, forgive me. And I thank you and your beautiful wife. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you stand for the university song, please?
From Caribbean islands, Guyana and Belize, was born on University of the West Indies, proud symbol of our oneness, our strength and unity. With vision clear, you came along to shape our destiny. To follow after knowledge, but truth to seek and find, to teach us love and justice, to liberate the mind. Today we see you rising, a light out of the west, that light greatest and the best. There is a light that is rising from out of the west, and proud bearers of that light are we. So we follow those whose work has brought glory to your name, making a better world for you and for me. As from your noble portals your sons and daughters go to face a world of challenges, to conquer every foe. We'll work and play together, and as time marches on, we'll never forget the lesson that behold, now we are one. UWI, we praise you, we lift our voice in song, we let our big drums roll loud and steep and spin ping pong. For you have shaped our lives so that we can truly say, to you we owe gratitude, a debt we can't repay. There is a light that is rising from out of the west, and proud bearers of the light are we. So we follow those whose work has brought glory to your name, making a better world for you and for me. This is our University of the West Indies.
Those are the University Singers with There Is a Light, written by Noel Dexter. And this is pretty much how
Ladies
we
and
come to the
gentlemen,
close.
this brings to a close the public ceremony at which the University of the West Indies has conferred the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on Dr. Simpson-Miller. The company will now disperse, but allow me and my colleagues on the platform and my guests to retire in recessional order. Thank you.
And what an afternoon it has been. We have, in under an hour, executed a most efficient program as the University of the West Indies conferred the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on the Most Honourable Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller. Now I say, the Most Honourable Dr. Portia Lucretia Simpson-Miller. And the Chancellor's procession. Now the Chancellor's procession. You can see Mr. Harold Miller and Dr. Portia Simpson-Miller greeting many of those persons who've come to support her and to experience this occasion. Dr. Michael Buckner, the public orator, captured her personality in a most authentic fashion in that presentation. Now, it's difficult to have a procession with Portia Simpson-Miller because there's going to be stopping and greetings, and her husband is trying to get her to move on. But she always recognizes everyone who has supported her and complimented her along the way. So that too, this universally admired woman, as the public orator said, Dr. Michael Buckner. It was not sanitized at all, it was authentic. Some of the gems from the public orator's citation, that people keep following her pee-pee clock clock. They keep following behind her pee-pee clock clock. And he said she was working. And we know that that resonates with people. Spoke about her, and in his citation mentioned that no boy, no girl, and we know the rest of it. But perhaps what struck me most was that he classified her as a woman warrior, a woman of courage, of tenacity, street smart, emotional intelligence, all of that in that authentic citation by the public orator. He made reference to her being named as one of the 100 most influential women by Times Magazine in 2012. And in her response, Dr. Portia Simpson-Miller said that politics provided her with a platform to do the stuff that she considered that she needed to do. It was a well-written presentation and well-delivered. She says, I have fought a good fight. And the University Singers chose two of the selections that she is most happy with, and they were used at her. One was used at the first time she was installed as Prime Minister, Can't Even Walk. At the time, it was a member of the former Grace Thrillers who had done that. And then Shaggy's Strength of a Woman just now, and the University Singers did such a good job in representing that song and then presenting themselves to her. But perhaps what I think will resonate with many people who know her very well and know how she moved into academia and how she got into studying and doing her degree is that she said that she can hear the voice of the late Professor Rex Nettleford saying, "This is my Portia in whom I am well pleased." This outside broadcast, the streaming of this event, is a partnership between UWI and the Jamaica Information Service. We want to thank you for watching and also to acknowledge that it was an important occasion for Dr. Portia Simpson-Miller, but also for the new Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Robert Bermudez. So we welcome him into the family and into his duties as Chancellor. We thank the Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, for the role he's played, and of course, Principal of the Mona Campus, Professor Archibald MacDonald, with other members of the Chancellor's Procession and the Academic Procession for sharing this occasion, and the men and women who love Mama P and love Portia, who filled this assembly hall this evening or this afternoon into evening to give her their love and support. So from the University of the West Indies, I leave you with our motto, Orient's ex-Occidental lux. This is indeed a light rising from the West. I am Faye Ellington. Good evening.